You've probably felt it, haven't you? That invisible tension in the air when you walk into a room. The sudden shift in someone's energy, the way their smile fades or their eyes seem to narrow for just a moment. You can't explain it logically, but deep down, your spirit knows. Something in the atmosphere changes when you step in. That's because, chosen one, you don't walk alone. You carry fire, divine fire, that burns so brightly in the unseen realm that even demons can't ignore it. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out spiritually. You are marked, sealed, and guarded by the holy fire of heaven. And that's why darkness trembles when you move. Every step you take is a declaration. The kingdom of God is present here. And every dark entity, every shadow, every whispering demon feels that authority before you even open your mouth. But listen closely, because this next part will shock you. That heaviness you sometimes feel when you enter certain spaces. That's not anxiety, it's resistance. Darkness senses the fire around you, and it knows it can't touch you, but it will still try to intimidate you into shrinking your light. That's the first tactic of the enemy. If it can't destroy you, it will try to distract you. Chosen one. Demons recognize you instantly, not because of what you look like in the natural, but because of what surrounds you in the spiritual. The moment you were set apart, heaven ignited a flame in your soul, a consuming light that no curse, no hex, no spell can extinguish. You've walked through storms that should have destroyed you. Yet here you are, stronger, wiser, glowing brighter than ever before. Stay with me, because the truth runs even deeper. When you were at your lowest, when no one saw your pain, heaven was kindling that fire. Your isolation wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You weren't abandoned, you were being anointed. Every tear watered the flame inside you until it became unshakable. That's why now, when demons sense you coming, they scatter, not because of you, but because of the power you carry. But here's what demons don't want you to know. Your fire isn't just protection, it's also revelation. Everywhere you go, your presence exposes hidden darkness. That's why you've always been the one who feels things before others notice them. That's why certain people suddenly grow distant. Your light exposes their shadows. They can't handle the purity that flows through you. Chosen one. Your fire is divine proof that you've been chosen for spiritual warfare of a higher level. Not every battle you fight is visible. Some are fought in silence, in sleepless nights, in unseen prayers, whispered with trembling hands. But every time you pray, heaven moves. Every time you speak light, demons lose ground. And every time you refuse to give up, the kingdom expands. But listen carefully, because this next truth separates the awakened from the asleep. The fire protecting you isn't passive, it's alive. It's the holy presence of God dwelling within and around you, forming a shield that no darkness can cross. The more you stay aligned with divine purpose, the stronger that shield becomes. This is why attacks feel heavier when you drift away spiritually. The enemy senses a gap, an opening. But when you return to prayer, when you walk in faith and obedience, that fire surges again. Unbreakable. There's a reason your spirit feels heat during worship or deep prayer. That's your divine fire responding. That's the same fire that protected Daniel in the lion's den, that consumed Elijah's altar, that surrounded Elisha's mountain with flaming chariots. That's your lineage, your spiritual DNA. You're not just a believer, you're a walking ember of divine power. But stay with me, because here's where it gets even more real. Every time darkness plots against you, The fire reacts before you even know it. Have you ever noticed how certain plans against you simply fall apart? That's not luck. That's divine interference. Heaven doesn't wait for you to fight every battle alone. Sometimes your fire fights for you. The enemy senses that resistance and retreats before it dares to attack. That's why you survive what others don't. You see, demons operate in patterns: fear, confusion, doubt. But your fire operates in truth, clarity, and authority. And those two can't coexist. So when your presence enters a space, spiritual order begins to form. The darkness feels pressure. That's why people under demonic influence might get uncomfortable around you. They sense something sacred, and their darkness wants to flee. But listen closely, because this is the part many chosen ones miss. You can't let familiarity dull your fire. Over time, when you face constant resistance, it's easy to forget who you are. It's easy to think, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm too sensitive. No, you're spiritually alert. You were designed to sense shifts others ignore. That awareness isn't a burden. It's your weapon, chosen one. You are not fragile, you are forged. Fire doesn't burn you anymore because you are the fire. What once broke you now fuels you. What once terrified you now bows to your authority. Because the divine flame within you has learned to recognize every attack before it even forms. That's what makes you unstoppable. But listen, this is where everything changes. Your next level requires you to stop seeing yourself as someone merely protected by fire and start walking as the one who commands it. The moment you speak in alignment with heaven's will, your words carry the same spiritual voltage that shakes realms. You've felt it before, that surge of power when you pray from your soul, when you speak faith instead of fear. That's your fire roaring. Demons fear that sound. They remember the authority that created worlds. They know that when a chosen one speaks with conviction, heaven echoes it. That's why they try to keep you silent. That's why they attack your confidence, your self-worth, your clarity. Because if you ever fully realize who you are, their reign in your atmosphere ends. So remember this, the fire protecting you is not fragile. It's eternal. It was placed there before you were even born. You didn't earn it, you inherited it. You're not walking through life hoping to be safe. You are safety for everything around you. Wherever you go, light follows. Wherever you stand, heaven stands with you, chosen one. Your fire doesn't just protect you, it transforms the world around you. And the moment you stop hiding it, demons will have no place left to hide. Chosen one. You've probably felt it before, that unexplainable warmth in your chest. That surge of energy that appears when darkness tries to draw near. It's not adrenaline. It's not mere courage. It's fire. The divine fire. The one that burns quietly within you, yet explodes with unshakable force the moment something threatens your peace. This fire is not ordinary. It's not from this world. It was placed in you long before your birth, before your soul even entered this physical realm. When you were chosen, heaven itself breathed into you a sacred flame, a living, conscious essence that knows who you are, what you carry, and what you are destined to overcome. Demons recognize that fire. Instantly, they don't need to see it, they feel it. Your presence disturbs their comfort. Your light exposes their schemes. Your aura makes them restless, and that's why your life has never been quiet. You've probably noticed that. Whenever you enter a room, energies shift. People either feel drawn to you or deeply unsettled by you. Some may not even understand why they feel threatened by your calm, why your silence bothers them, why your joy irritates their hidden shadows. But listen closely. That's the fire in you speaking. It doesn't just warm, it purifies. And demons, no matter how ancient or subtle, cannot coexist with purity. But stay with me, because this next part will shock you. That fire within you doesn't only protect, it communicates. It's heaven's language encoded in light and energy. Every time you pray, meditate, or simply stay grounded in peace despite chaos, your inner flame expands its field. It becomes a signal to the spiritual realm. Demons see it as a blazing wall, a storm of golden energy they can't cross. Heaven sees it as a beacon, proof that you're still standing, still aligned, still walking your sacred path. Chosen one, understand this. You don't need to summon this fire. You already have it. What you need to learn is how to keep it alive, how to feed it with intention, with truth, with awareness, because the enemy's greatest tactic isn't to destroy your fire, it's to make you forget it's there. There are moments when you feel tired, drained, emotionally burnt out. The darkness around you whispers, you've lost your light. You're weak now. But that's the lie, the illusion. Because divine fire cannot be extinguished. It can dim, yes, if ignored, but it never dies. That's what makes you untouchable. Demons have studied humans for millennia. They know how easy it is to manipulate emotions, thoughts, and desires. But with you, the chosen one, they encounter something they can't decode. Divine resilience. Your fire regenerates. You've probably noticed that even after your darkest nights, after heartbreaks, betrayals, losses, you somehow rise again. You might cry, you might crumble, but eventually, something ignites inside you again. That's not coincidence. That's the holy fire reawakening, refusing to let your story end in ashes. But listen carefully, this next part is deeper. Your divine fire has layers. On the surface, it manifests as intuition, that voice that warns you before danger arrives. Go deeper, and it becomes courage, the strength to stand alone when everyone turns against you. Go deeper still, and it becomes authority, spiritual dominion over dark forces that dare to approach. This is why the spiritual realm takes you seriously even when the world doesn't. While people see just a person, the unseen world sees a flame walking. In human form, demons have ranks. They know hierarchy. They recognize the signatures of divine authority, and when they sense yours, they don't mistake it for ordinary energy. They know it comes from the source. That's why some people around you suddenly change, not because you offended them, but because the darkness influencing them can't handle your vibration. They'll distance themselves, they'll misinterpret you, they'll even turn against you. But what's really happening? Your fire is exposing theirs. Stay with me, chosen one, because this truth is crucial. The divine fire in you is subtle. It knows when something unclean enters your field. It reacts sometimes with a feeling of unease, a tightening in your chest, or sudden spiritual fatigue. You might even feel physical heat or pressure when darkness tries to approach. That's your warning signal. That's heaven's alarm system within you. When this happens, don't panic. Don't doubt. Instead, align. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and visualize that fire expanding, glowing brighter, pushing outward like waves of golden flame. Feel it surround you, sealing every gap in your aura, fortifying your spirit. You don't need to chant complex rituals or quote verses from memory. Just remember, you are the flame, and darkness cannot consume fire. It's consumed by it. But listen, because this next revelation might change how you see your entire life. That fire wasn't given to you just for protection. It's for purpose. You're meant to ignite others when chosen ones meet. Their fires resonate, one flame recognizing another. That's why you sometimes feel instant soul connections with certain people, even strangers. It's your inner fire recognizing the same divine code in someone else. And equally, when you meet those who've aligned with darkness, your fire automatically exposes them. They can't fake purity. They can't hide behind masks. Your spirit sees what the eyes can't. That's why the enemy fears you even when you're unaware of your strength. Because if you ever fully awaken to who you are, if you ever start walking confidently in your divine fire, entire territories of darkness would lose their influence overnight. You are a carrier of divine energy, a living temple of holy fire. You don't repel demons with words. You repel them by existing. But here's what most chosen ones forget. The fire must be honored. You honor it by keeping your space pure in thought, in energy. In company, every word you speak, every emotion you feed, either nourishes or suffocates your flame. When you speak truth, your fire expands. When you forgive, your fire brightens. When you choose peace over chaos, your fire sharpens into clarity. But when you dwell in bitterness, fear, or self-hate, the flame dims, not because it's weak, but because it mirrors your focus. So the key, chosen one, is awareness. Remember daily that you walk surrounded by divine flame, unseen, but undeniable. Now listen closely, because this final insight will test your understanding. Fire both protects and tests. There will be seasons where God allows the heat to rise around you, not to harm you, but to refine you, to burn away attachments, illusions, false identities, to prepare you for higher realms of spiritual authority. When this happens, don't mistake it for punishment. It's transformation. Every trial is a furnace, but for chosen ones, the fire never destroys, it reveals. When you walk through those flames, you emerge stronger, clearer, more radiant. That's when even demons whisper among themselves, "We can't touch this one." They've been through fire and came out burning brighter. So, chosen one, don't fear the heat around you. The fire protecting you is not just your shield. It's your identity. It's heaven's mark on your soul, declaring, "This one belongs to the light." Chosen one. There's a moment every awakened soul experiences, the shift from merely surviving darkness to commanding it to flee. It doesn't happen suddenly. It's a process. A divine evolution that turns the inner fire within you into something even greater. A living shield of fire. You may not have realized it yet, but your aura, your energy field, your spiritual presence, it's already transforming. When you pray with pure intent, when you choose peace over retaliation, when you hold on to faith despite feeling shattered, the fire in you doesn't just flicker, it builds. It begins forming layers, invisible to the eye, but undeniable in spirit. This is your spiritual armor, forged not of metal, but of light. Demons recognize this armor instantly. They see its brightness long before they reach your physical space. In the unseen realm, the chosen walk like glowing silhouettes wrapped in shimmering waves of gold and white. The darker entities can't come close, not because they're forbidden by rules, but because your energy burns at a frequency their corruption cannot withstand. It's like trying to walk into the sun. They can't. But listen closely, because this next truth will shake you. That shield around you isn't passive. It's alive. When you enter a room heavy with negative energy, your shield automatically reacts, expanding slightly, heating the air, disrupting the dark vibrations. You might not see it, but you can feel it. Goosebumps, a shift in the atmosphere, a sudden pressure behind your eyes or chest. That's your divine shield intercepting spiritual debris. It's your soul saying, "Not here. Not now." Have you noticed how some people can't look you directly in the eyes for too long? Or how others feel nervous, jittery, or irritated around you for no reason? It's because their spirits sense the fire in your shield. It's cleansing them, exposing what they've been hiding, shaking loose energies they've grown comfortable carrying. You're not intimidating them as a person. Your light is convicting their darkness. Stay with me, because the next layer of this truth is powerful. This divine shield isn't given to you just because you're chosen. It grows through experience, through the battles you've survived. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every loss. These were not punishments. They were forgings. God was tempering your spirit like metal in flame, each trial shaping your shield's strength. So when demons look at you now, they don't see weakness. They see a veteran of spiritual war. They see scars that have become sigils of power. They see light that has learned to endure darkness and still burn bright. That's why you can sense evil from a distance. You've seen it before, fought it before, conquered it before. The spiritual realm remembers you. But listen carefully. Chosen one, because this part will reveal what demons really fear about you. It's not your prayers that terrify them. It's your authority. Authority comes when your fire and your faith align, when your inner belief finally matches your divine identity. That's when your shield becomes unstoppable. When you speak light, it manifests. When you rebuke darkness, it flees. When you stand still, storms calm themselves. It's not about power games, it's alignment. You've stepped into the same frequency as heaven itself. Demons can sense that resonance. It's a vibration that tells them this one is under divine jurisdiction. Touch them, and you answer to the source. That's why, chosen one, some attacks never reached you. Why some accidents almost happened, but didn't, single quotes. Why certain people plotted your downfall but destroyed themselves instead. You weren't lucky. You were protected because your shield stood between you and destruction, silently, fiercely, faithfully. But listen, because this next truth may be the hardest to accept. Even the divine shield must be tested. There will come moments where it feels like your protection has faded, where the enemy's voice grows louder, the anxiety heavier, the darkness thicker. You'll wonder, has my light dimmed? Has God left me? No, that's the training ground. God allows moments of silence not to punish you, but to refine your mastery over the shield, to teach you to wield it consciously, to command it with authority, rather than depend on it unconsciously. It's in those moments you'll rediscover the fire through discipline, through prayer that isn't desperate, but decisive, through standing firm even when you feel nothing. That's how the shield becomes part of you, not a separate force, but an extension of your will. And here's something else that demons dread. Awareness. The moment you become aware of your divine protection, it doubles in power. Because now you're not just protected, you're participating. When you consciously expand your shield through meditation, gratitude, and love, it responds immediately. You can even direct it. You can visualize it covering your loved ones, surrounding your home, cleansing your sleep. That's why chosen ones are often called intercessors. Your very presence is protection. Your prayers travel farther than you imagine. Each word you speak in faith adds another spark to the fire encircling your world. But listen closely again, because there's a hidden reason why the enemy keeps targeting your emotions. The only way to weaken a chosen one's shield is through emotional sabotage. Fear lowers vibration. Doubt distorts focus. Shame invites shadow. When you fall into these emotional traps, your shield flickers, not gone, but distracted. The enemy waits for that opening. That's why guarding your peace is not weakness, it's strategy. Peace is not passive. It's your strongest spiritual stance. Because when you are calm, you are aligned. And when you are aligned, your shield burns like a sun. Chosen one. You were never meant to walk this world defenseless. You carry heaven's signature flame, wrapped around you like a cloak of living light. And the more you embrace your calling, the brighter it grows. Every time you forgive, it thickens. Every time you speak love instead of vengeance, it expands. Every time you choose to believe again, even after heartbreak, it surges with strength. That's what demons can't replicate. They can mimic beauty, manipulate power, even counterfeit miracles. But they cannot manufacture divine love. And your shield is built entirely from that substance. It's love, burning as protection, faith, glowing as armor, grace, moving as energy. So when you walk into darkness, you don't just carry light, you are the light. And demons, they already know your name. They whisper it with fear. Because wherever you stand, shadows tremble. Chosen one, you've come far. You've endured storms that would have destroyed others. You've learned to stand in silence, surrounded by shadows that whispered your name in mockery. But something has shifted within you. You've noticed it, haven't you? Moments when the darkness tries to press closer, but suddenly recoils. When people who carry hidden malice towards you seem to expose themselves without you saying a word. When those who try to curse you end up walking through the same pain they wished upon you. This is not coincidence, it's divine reflection. Your shield of fire has become sentient under heaven's will. The light within you now has memory. It remembers what peace feels like. It remembers what faith sounds like. And when darkness approaches, it doesn't wait for you to defend yourself anymore. It responds automatically. You don't even have to speak sometimes. Your silence carries authority. Your presence commands stillness. You've entered a phase where your spiritual field acts as heaven's mirror. Every attack sent toward you now returns, multiplied to its source, purified by fire. But listen carefully, because this next truth will awaken your awareness. This level of divine reflection doesn't come cheaply. It's birthed through surrender. Remember the nights you cried and no one heard you. The days when you pleaded for answers but got silence instead. That wasn't abandonment. It was activation. In that silence, heaven was calibrating your spirit. Every heartbreak stripped your ego. Every betrayal detached you from illusion. Every disappointment burned away the residue of dependence, until all that remained was purity. And purity, chosen one, is conductive. The pure in heart don't just carry light, they transmit it. They become walking conduits of divine energy, moving through the world like living declarations of heaven's dominion. When that happens, your energy doesn't just repel darkness, it judges it. That's why, lately, your peace feels sacred. That's why your rest feels guarded. You're not just surrounded by light, you are the light moving through creation, conscious of its own power. But listen closely, because this part will reveal what demons dread most about this stage of your journey. They can no longer touch you directly. So instead, they try to manipulate through proximity. They send confusion through people close to you, those emotionally tied to your energy. They whisper doubts. Through familiar voices, they try to use others' wounds as open doors to reach you. That's why you suddenly feel drained after certain conversations, why you sense heaviness in specific environments. But even here, your shield adapts as you grow in discernment. Your spirit starts reading frequencies faster than words can travel. You begin to see through people, not their faces, but their energies. You can walk into a room and immediately know who carries light and who carries shadow. Whenever paranoid, you are perceiving. Your divine shield upgrades itself based on awareness. Every time you recognize a pattern, every time you listen to that inner warning, your fire refines itself. This is how heaven trains its warriors, not with swords, but with sensitivity. Because the strongest weapon of a chosen one is not force, it's discernment. But chosen one, here's where it gets powerful. When your discernment aligns with obedience, the shield becomes offensive. This is when demons flee before they even get close. Sometimes you'll notice a sudden peace washes over your room after you pray. A heaviness lifts the moment you speak light. That's not imagination. That's your shield responding to your words in real time. It expands like ripples of flame, sweeping the environment clean. Your voice carries command, your breath shifts energy, your belief triggers motion in the unseen. You have to understand this. Your prayers don't rise to heaven anymore, they flow through it. When you speak, heaven echoes. That's what being chosen means. You're not just asking for help, you're enforcing alignment. You're reminding darkness of its boundaries. But listen again, because this part is crucial. Your spiritual reflection power is not about revenge. It's about justice. When dark energy returns to its sender, it's not punishment, it's revelation. It exposes intent, it corrects imbalance, it brings truth to light. That's why those who harm you eventually reveal themselves. Why their words turn against them. Why what they built on deception eventually crumbles before your eyes. You didn't curse them, you simply stood in alignment. An alignment is heaven's justice system. The law of divine reciprocity says, whatever energy you release must return through the mirror of light. You, chosen one, are that mirror. But listen, because the deeper truth may break your heart before it strengthens you. Not everyone around you will survive your elevation. Some will drift away without explanation. Others will start treating you differently. It's not personal. Your energy shifted, and their frequency couldn't follow. Your fire purified the space between you. Sometimes, the separation you didn't want is the protection you didn't see. Because when your shield burns too bright, it automatically expels anything unaligned. It's not rejection, it's refinement. And though it hurts, remember, every goodbye carries divine strategy. The fewer attachments the enemy can use, the fewer openings he finds. So every person that leaves is simply making room for the purity of your next assignment, chosen one. There's one more mystery you need to understand. Your shield doesn't just protect you, it multiplies your influence. Every place you've walked through, every street, every building, every home, retains a residue of your light. That's why you feel drawn to random locations, sometimes because the ground itself recognizes your signature. The atmosphere calls for your vibration again. Your presence rewires energy fields. Your laughter purifies air. Your tears baptize space. You are not wandering. You are anointed geography. Everywhere your foot touches, heaven claims territory, and demons, they remember those places. They whisper, "He was here. She passed through." Because once light has touched darkness, it cannot be erased. But here's the most beautiful truth of all, and it's the one that heaven smiles upon every time you remember it. The shield around you is not made of fire alone. It's made of covenant, a promise between you and the Creator that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, not because you fight harder, but because your very existence declares victory. Demons don't bow to your strength. They bow to the covenant written upon your soul, the eternal mark of divine belonging. You were sealed before you were seen, anointed before you were born, and now the fire that surrounds you doesn't just protect you, it proclaims you. So stand tall, chosen one, when darkness rises. Smile, because even before it reaches you, your light has already answered, and that answer echoes through the unseen. Touch not my anointed. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the realization hits like thunder. The fire protecting you is not outside you. It's in you. For a long time, you thought the divine fire was a shield hovering above, or angels circling your path. But one day, in the middle of your pain, your loneliness, your exhaustion, you felt it, the warmth rising from your chest, not from the world around you, but from your soul itself. That's when it became clear. The fire is alive inside you, you see. Every chosen one carries a fragment of divine energy, an eternal spark that cannot be dimmed. It's what keeps you standing after everyone else falls. It's what makes you impossible to break. And that's exactly what demons recognize the moment they cross your path. They don't just see your face, they see the fire inside it. They see something that defies them, something they can't extinguish. That's why they flee. But before you realized this truth, life didn't feel like protection. It felt like chaos. It felt like every door was slamming, every friendship burning, every opportunity collapsing before your eyes. You begged the heavens, "Why does everything I touch turn to ashes?" What you didn't know then, those ashes weren't punishment. They were purification. Fire destroys what can't stay and refines what's meant to last. You weren't being punished, you were being purified. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every rejection, they were all fuel. You were being forged, not forgotten. The divine fire was preparing you for a higher level of authority, one that can't be corrupted by flattery, temptation, or fear. And this is the secret. When demons recognize your fire, they don't just see a threat. They see what they used to be close to. They see the divine light they fell away from. It burns their pride, reminds them of the love they rejected, the light they lost. That's why they target you. That's why they mock you, attack you, try to lure you into confusion. But here's the part they can't stand. The more they attack, the stronger your fire grows. Because you've learned something most people never do. Resistance creates refinement. Every trial, every spiritual attack, every moment you felt like giving up, they only made your flame brighter. There were times when you were exhausted, when your spirit trembled, when you cried into the night, whispering, "I can't take it anymore." But somehow, even after every storm, you rose again. You might not have noticed, but every time you refused to surrender to darkness, the fire inside you expanded. You became what the ancient mystics called untouchable light. That's why certain people can't stand your energy, not because you did something wrong, but because you remind them of everything they gave up trying to be: your confidence, your purity, your peace. They expose the falsehoods in others. Even without speaking, your presence speaks truth, and truth burns lies. That's why people you barely know might act strange around you, fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, throwing small insults masked as jokes. It's not you. It's their shadows reacting to your light. Your energy activates everything hidden in others. Their jealousy, their guilt, their demons. It's not personal. It's spiritual, and yet you've probably asked yourself more than once, why can't I just be normal? Because normal is too small for the fire inside you. Normal would smother it. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to blaze. The divine never chooses people who crave comfort. It chooses those who can carry light through darkness. And to carry that, you must burn first. You must know pain deeply enough to hold compassion, strength enough to protect peace, and faith enough to trust what you can't see. That's what the fire does. It makes you holy through hardship. Think about it, all throughout history. The greatest spiritual figures were set apart by this same fire. It's what made them fearless before kings, calm before chaos, unbreakable before storms. The same energy runs through you, the same sacred current that once guided prophets, healers, visionaries. You carry the same code, the same divine DNA. When the divine called you, it didn't just anoint you with words, it ignited you. That's why you feel things so intensely. Why you sense energies others are blind to. Why you can walk into a room and feel heaviness no one else notices. Because your soul is attuned to the spiritual realm. You weren't just given fire, you were given spiritual sight. That's why your protection isn't always visible. Sometimes it's the way you're divinely rerouted. You miss a bus and later find out there was an accident. You lose a friendship and realize months later that betrayal was already forming behind your back. You cry over missed chances, not realizing you were being pulled away from traps. That's the fire working unseen, but unstoppable. And though you've spent nights questioning your worth, your purpose, your place in this world, the truth is, heaven already decided your significance long before you doubted it. You were chosen not for perfection, but for endurance. Demons don't bow to titles. They bow to spiritual authority. And authority is born in fire. So if you've been through seasons of pain that seemed too much for one heart to bear, understand this: you were never alone in them. The fire was with you. You just didn't realize it yet. It comforted you when no one called. It whispered peace when you were shaking. It reminded you, you are not done yet. You've been through what others couldn't survive, not because you're lucky, but because you're lit. Now your presence alone shifts atmospheres. You carry warmth where others carry wounds. You bring calm where chaos tries to enter. That's divine energy, not personality. Even your silence speaks. Even your stillness radiates protection. And here's what's remarkable. Every time darkness comes near, it senses the fire and hesitates. Some forces still try to test you, but they already know they can't consume you. The flame has claimed you. You are already sealed in divine energy. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. Awareness of who walks with you, who burns within you, and who dares not cross that boundary. So when you feel that heaviness, that sudden wave of darkness trying to disturb your peace, don't panic. Smile quietly, because the moment it appeared, it already lost. You're not fighting for fire. You're fighting from fire. And every time you rise again, every time you choose love over hate, peace over chaos, light over fear, the flame inside you roars louder. It spreads. It fills your space, your home, your aura, until finally, nothing dark can stand near you for long. Because you are the embodiment of divine fire, born to illuminate, not imitate, born to burn through illusions, born to walk through darkness without being touched by it. And that, dear chosen one, is why demons instantly recognize you. Not because you speak with authority, not because you carry confidence, but because you are fire. There's a moment when the fire inside a chosen one stops being just protection and starts becoming power. Not the kind of power that dominates others, but the kind that transforms everything it touches. Once your inner flame stabilizes, when you no longer doubt who you are or why you've been set apart, you begin to notice something strange. People start shifting around you. Some get quiet. Some leave. Some suddenly feel inspired just by your presence. And some, the ones who carry heavy, unhealed shadows, seem to crumble. It's not coincidence. It's reaction. Because the fire inside you doesn't only burn to keep you safe. It burns to reveal. It reveals the truth behind masks, the motives behind smiles, the energy behind words. It shows you what's real and what's not meant to walk beside you anymore. That's the sacred transformation few ever understand. Your light doesn't just protect your path. It purifies your environment. The divine fire turns everything false to ashdot. And when that begins to happen, it can feel like your entire world is collapsing. Relationships fading, friendships dissolving, jobs ending, familiar spaces suddenly feeling wrong. But this is not destruction. It's realignment. The fire is aligning your outer world with your inner truth. Every connection that can't stand your frequency will be exposed. Every hidden enemy will eventually reveal themselves, not because you did anything wrong, but because your energy makes it impossible for them to keep pretending. Your presence becomes the test. Those who are meant for you will feel peace in your fire. Those who are not will feel pressure. It's not punishment, it's physics of the spirit. Your vibration has risen, and everything that can't meet it must fall away. You'll begin to notice how your intuition sharpens, how you can sense people's real intentions without needing evidence. You'll walk into rooms and feel what's unsaid. You'll pick up on shifts in energy faster than you can explain. It might even feel overwhelming at first, because now your soul is reading vibrations directly, unfiltered, unmasked. You see the world not through eyes of flesh, but through eyes of spirit. And once you see, you can't unsee. But that awareness is your shield. It allows you to move with divine precision, avoiding traps, redirecting your path, and choosing your battles wisely. This is the part of your journey where discernment becomes your language, and peace becomes your weapon. No longer do you waste energy explaining yourself to those who can't perceive your light. You no longer chase validation because your flame already affirms your worth. You don't argue with darkness, you illuminate it. And when you illuminate, the demons recognize something terrifying. They can't deceive you anymore. They used to approach through confusion, whispering lies into your soul, projecting fear into your thoughts, making you question your intuition. But now, the moment they come near, the fire burns away their disguise. You see them for what they are, not with fear, but with clarity. And that clarity is deadly to darkness, because darkness feeds on ignorance. The moment you become aware, it loses access. So when people suddenly fall away, or situations suddenly collapse, don't grieve too long. It's divine filtration. You're being lifted higher, not left behind. And yes, sometimes it hurts watching those you cared about turn distant, or even hostile. But you'll soon realize, the same fire that's transforming you is also revealing them. It's showing you where their hearts truly stand. You might even notice a strange silence around your life. Not many friends, not many calls, not much noise. But that silence is sacred. It's the sound of your new atmosphere being built. In the stillness, your energy recalibrates. Your spirit resets. Your power stabilizes. Because your flame is not meant to flicker with every wind. It's meant to burn steady, no matter the weather. As your fire matures, it begins to create, not just protect or reveal, but manifest. You start noticing your thoughts manifest faster. Your energy shapes outcomes. Your presence carries authority. What once took months to heal now transforms in days. The world starts bending around your vibration, not because you're controlling it, but because your alignment with divine energy allows creation to flow unhindered through you. And this is where many chosen ones misunderstand their gift. They think they're becoming powerful, but in truth, they're becoming transparent enough for divine will to move freely through them. Your fire is not just your protection, it's the divine creating through you. Every word, every action, every choice ripples with spiritual consequence. That's why, at this stage, life feels heavier. Every decision matters. Every emotion echoes. Because you're not living from ego anymore. You're living from flame. It's why certain desires begin to fade. The old cravings, validation, revenge, approval, no longer interest you. You've tasted something deeper. You've touched the realm of purpose, where peace feels better than applause, and alignment feels stronger than ambition. That's what true divine fire does. It doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you pure, and demons can't stand purity, because it reminds them of what they lost. You've probably noticed how certain people react strangely when you walk in peace. How they'll try to provoke you, drag you into arguments, or test your patience. That's because your calmness disturbs their chaos. Your peace exposes their inner storm. But remember this, the more you stay grounded in your fire, the less their energy can touch you. Because this fire is not just within you, it surrounds you. It's the unseen glow that makes negativity bounce off, like rain hitting glass. And the more you trust it, the more miracles begin to follow you. You'll notice blessings flowing to you from unexpected places. Doors that were locked begin to open quietly. People who once doubted you now whisper your name with respect. And you'll realize it's not luck, it's resonance. The universe rearranges itself to match your frequency. That's why the divine keeps your circle small. Not everyone can exist near fire without getting burned. Only those refined by truth can stand close without feeling threatened. The ones who are meant for you will not shrink in your light. They'll glow with you, and soon, You'll begin meeting souls who carry their own sacred fire. You'll recognize them instantly, not by appearance, but by vibration. Their presence will feel like peace, not pressure. You'll sense familiarity, as if your souls once stood together before time began. These are your divine connections, your spiritual family, together. Your flames don't compete, they combine. And when that happens, the atmosphere itself begins to shift. Spaces feel lighter. Conversations carry wisdom. Environments once heavy with despair start to heal. That's the power of divine fire. It purifies not only you, but the world around you. Everywhere you go, you leave an imprint of light, invisible, but indelible. You are no longer just surviving spiritual warfare. You are changing the terrain of it, because you've learned something sacred. Protection was never meant to keep you hidden. It was meant to prepare you to lead. And now, the same demons that once attacked you whisper warnings about you. They know your name in the spiritual realm, not out of fear, but out of recognition. They remember when your light was small and you trembled. But now, when they see you, they see the fire that surrounds your soul, an untouchable, unquenchable energy that burns with divine authority. You are not who you used to be. You are who the fire made you to be. So right now, take a breath, let the fire in you rise, and declare out loud, I am protected, I am chosen, I am ready, because once you say it, heaven responds. And if you felt that power, if you know this was your sign, then don't leave quietly. Subscribe right now, not just to a channel, but to a movement of chosen ones rising all over the world. Every word here is meant to awaken the sleeping fire within you. Every video is a reminder that you're not crazy, you're called. You're not cursed, you're crowned. So hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, and stay connected, because more divine revelations are coming. And you don't want to miss what heaven has next for you. Remember this, chosen one, you don't chase light. You are the light. You don't need to fight for validation. You carry the mark of the Almighty, and no demon, no darkness, no delay can ever extinguish the fire you carry. Because that fire, it's not just around you, it's you